You're a doctor, there's something really special about being published, right, in a medical journal or a magazine or even a book. And our next guest, Fox News contributor and physician, Dr. Nicole Saphier, she was published last year, Playing Politics with a Panic Attack, Playing Politics with Science in the Fight Against COVID-19. And it's a great book. But something tells me this latest publication is something that she's most proud of. It's a children's book. It's called That's What Family's For. And Dr. Saphier, you're sharing the authorship here with a young man named Hudson Saphier, your son. How cool. Thanks for joining us.
That's right. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on to discuss this. I have been published in many medical journals as a physician. I have 2 books myself, but this one means something special to me. I was able to write it with my son, Hudson. Last year, Hudson was given some bad news from a doctor. We're not going to go into details, but it didn't feel very good. Kind of rocked our family's world a little bit. And as a family, we really came together, got closer, and decided to do something that maybe would turn a negative situation into something a little bit more positive that can hopefully help more people. And so I decided to put out a children's book, and it's all about the importance of the family unit, which seems like something that we're going away from these days. It seems like they're trying to really separate parents from children, whether it comes to their sports, their education. And this is not the time to be doing that. Family is everything.
Yeah, it's funny. I would say 20, 30 years ago, you probably wouldn't need a book about why it's important that kids rely on their parents and their siblings to get through rough times, because it was just a given. But you're right. These days, I think that it's critically important to send this message. And I love that you did it directed specifically at the children with a children's book, because right now, the selection of children's books, they're not quite necessarily as positive and family-oriented, shockingly.
They're certainly not. You have children coming home from school essentially having anxiety because they're living in a state of panic. They're talking about climate change and the world's going to come to an end. And they're even talking about politics and transgenderism and all of these things that the child's mind doesn't necessarily have the capability to comprehend.
Yeah.
And think about how we felt in COVID. At COVID at the beginning, a lot of us had anxiety, children and adults, because there was a large unknown. Well, now again, we're continuing to give these big unknowns to kids, and all we're doing is increasing the mental health crises that they're already seeing. Children should be focusing on the important things of life, and that is faith, family, and friends. And they need to be given the lessons on how to move forward as an adolescent and an adult to maintain those strong relationships as they get older.
I want to talk about the themes of the book, but I just love the fact that you worked on this with your son while he was going through some rough times. Were there things during the artistic process and the creative process in sort of fleshing out what the characters would do and say to each other that actually allowed Hudson to reveal things? Like, it only came out during these conversations? It's like even creating the book became a bonding experience for you, I would guess.
Yeah, so this book is incredibly special to me because if you read the book, there are some nuances that really represent our family. Physically with the illustrations, I mean, they're brightly colored, they're beautiful.
Wait, hold on a minute, hold on. Let's get the graphic of the cover up again here, because if I remember right, it's a family of monkeys. Wow, what is the physical resemblance here? I mean, I know that this is a Darwin thing that you're throwing at us, Dr. Saphier.
My kids are little monkeys. They climb around everywhere.
Oh, all right.
It's a family of 5, 3 boys. I have 3 sons. And if you notice, the husband and 3 boys all have blue eyes, just like mine do. And the mom has green eyes like I do. And in it, the monkey Jeff is the one who gets the bad news from the doctor. And he comes up with a what if I could list. And on that what if I could list, it's essentially, his bucket list. What would he do if he could? And his family rallies around him and really makes that true using imagination. But that was interesting to see because Hudson's the one that came up with the what if I could lists. And it was fun to see what he came up with.
That is cool. How fun. And let's talk a little bit about the fact that a children's book is important to sort of express these ideas and delve into this, because I feel like in our culture right now, school, and I don't want to question the motives here, but I feel like the prevailing attitude in our culture and in our public schools is to try to get our kids to be as independent as possible. We really want them to be able to stand up for themselves and speak for themselves and be independent. That is something they need to learn, but it's almost the independence at the expense of their relationship with their parents and their siblings. Like, independence is exchanged for the family bond.
Listen, it is a slippery slope. Yes, we want our children to be independent because when they turn 20, 21, 22, they should be out the door. Look what's happening right now. You have all of these 20 to 29-year-olds still living at home because they can't take care of themselves. So, but that's not what we're talking about. Elementary age children should not be independent from their family. They should not be independent from their parents. And despite what you hear in mainstream media right now, it is crucial that parents inflict their faith, their beliefs, their ethics, and everything about them onto their child. As the child gets older, they may come into their own opinions and beliefs. But as a child, it's their most vulnerable years, when they are able to take in as much information as possible, that is when it's crucial for that family to be a tight family unit. Right now, 1 in 3 kids don't live with the mother and father. And what are we seeing? We are seeing a rise in mental and physical illness when it comes to our kids, and we're also seeing a rise in crime by children. That broken family unit is certainly contributing to all of that, and it is important that we get the message that that family unit and staying together is crucial.
I always try to approach life looking for the upside, looking for the sunny side, looking for the glass half full, or making sure that the glass is the right size in the first place, that kind of thing. Coming out of COVID, and I know you've been very outspoken about the lockdowns and all of the problems that came along with it, can we say one of the upsides is I think that parents are rethinking their mode of occupation. They're choosing jobs. They know now that there's a lot of jobs they can do from home and they can be with children, and it's not just one spouse or the other, but both parents are finding a way to be there with their kids if possible. And I feel like our professional world has sort of grown to accept that much more readily than they used to. That could be an upside of this whole thing, couldn't it?
Yeah, COVID really rocked everyone's world a little bit, and it changed the way we think about a lot of things. And one of the biggest things was we realized how important it was for us to be home more, and how we're able to. All of a sudden, you had a lot of companies that were able to adapt to people being at home, and we realized all of the time physically spent away from the home, away from the family, maybe that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And now that we're looking back at it, I mean, imagine had we been more present, physically present in our home with our children for the last decade, maybe things would be in a much better space. I can only hope that moving forward, that our priorities have shifted enough to realize that it is crucial for us to be home, not necessarily being a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, but we can be flexible in our professions, and our children need us now more than ever, and it is so vital that we take care of them and make them the priority.
By the way, I'd add homeschooling to the list of things that we can do too to have the whole family be at home. The book is called That's What Family's For, and that idea certainly fits into it. Doctor, I've only got about a minute left, but I've interviewed so many children's book authors lately. It seems to be a growing field here. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. And what I hear from a lot of the authors is it's the parents reading these books to their kids that are really impacted by them. Are you getting that feedback too? That I know it's geared toward kids, but the parents are really learning quite a bit.
Oh, I can tell you so many people have reached out to me thanking me for writing this book. It means a lot to a lot of people. Anyone who's dealing with an illness, whether it's a child or an adult family member, it's a moment for the family to come together and look at a beautifully illustrated book and really just relish in that feeling of togetherness. And it's perfect for Mother's Day. As we're coming up to Mother's Day, just a reminder that mother is truly the center of her family's world.
Dr. Nicole Saphier, we see you do great work on Fox News, and we've read your book. Now we're going to read your children's book. Our best to your co-author, Hudson. We'll keep
Thank you. He's in school right now, or else he'd be here.
No problem. We'll keep he and your whole family in our prayers as well. There's more to come on O'Connor Tonight. This is Salem News Channel.